The Sloth Investor's Bite-Sized Summary of Balance by Andrew Hallam. Summary Point 1. The Four Quadrants to a Successful Life. Early on in the book, Andrew Hallam states that there are four quadrants to a successful life. These are having enough money, maintaining strong relationships, maximizing your physical and mental health, living with a sense of purpose. The author sees success as a four-legged table, with each leg representing a quadrant. Each quadrant depends on the other. If they don't all play their part equally, the table collapses. If one leg is partly broken or cracked, it's tough to maximize your life satisfaction, no matter how solid you might be in the other three quadrants. As Hallam states in the book, far too many people focus too much on the money leg. Furthermore, it's important to reflect on the powerful role that modern culture exerts on our lives. Television and online advertisements compel consumers to believe that more is better, newer is better, and quite simply, that stuff will make you happy. However, as Andrew Hallam makes clear in the book, there's so much more to life than consumerism. Maintaining strong relationships, physical and mental health, and finally, living with a sense of purpose. Never underestimate the importance of these things. Summary Point 2. The Desert Island Litmus Test. According to Andrew Hallam, when you're considering the purchase of a high-status item, you should ask yourself if you would still buy the item if nobody else could ever see it. Hallam states that plenty of people buy high-status items to be seen having them, at least in part. The author makes an interesting point about upgrading your home. He states, if nobody could ever see your home, would you still buy it or spend money on the upgrade? Our friends and family aren't going to love us any more or any less if we choose to buy a mansion on a hill, rent a swanky apartment, or update our living room. That's why the desert island question is a soul-searching litmus test. If you would still buy a bigger home or renovate your home if nobody outside your life and family could ever see it, then go for it. But be honest with yourself. Ask yourself if these changes will enhance your overall life satisfaction. In most cases, they won't. Hallam then expands on the findings of a 2011 German study in which researchers tracked thousands of people in Germany who upgraded to different homes between 1991 and 2007. 5 years after each person had bought their new home, the researchers asked them if the new homes had increased their overall levels of happiness. Overwhelmingly, the respondents involved in the study answered that it hadn't. Summary Point 3. The Importance of Life Experiences. In Chapter 1 of the book, Andrew Hallam writes eloquently about the importance of life experiences to one's life satisfaction. Indeed, as a result of investing his money wisely from a young age, Hallam has been able to spend his money on experiences, many of which he writes about in Balance. This is what Hallam states about experiences in Balance. Instead of buying more or better stuff, consider spending your money on experiences. You might choose to take dancing, guitar, or cooking lessons. Perhaps you'll travel somewhere and learn a foreign language. Or maybe you'll save enough money to take some time away from work. It could be a sabbatical you spend with your family, exploring the country, or enjoying a series of activities together. Hallam makes a key point about sitting around with a group of old friends. He wisely states that if you're sitting around with a group of old friends, you'll almost never reminisce about the stuff you bought 10 years ago. Instead, it's far more likely that you'll talk about the things you did. Summary Point 4. Children's Financial Literacy. Spend, save, and share. Andrew Hallam writes wisely about how we can educate our children about money. Most notably, he discusses how parents can guide their kids to spend, save, and share. So, when a child receives an allowance or earns money from a part-time job, the child can spend 1/3 of it on something they want. They save 1/3 for something they want to buy later or put it aside for the purpose of investment. The final third is then donated to a charity of their choice. What do you think about the triple S strategy of spend, save, and share? Leave your thoughts in the comment section for this video to let me know what you think. Summary Point 5. What cars do the rich drive? Plenty of people crave a nice car. However, as Andrew Hallam wisely states in Balance, cars are personal wealth destroyers. For Hallam, there are two key reasons for this. 1. We often borrow money to buy them. 2. Cars lose value every month. Hallam cites research by Dr. Thomas J. Stanley, who found that most millionaires don't drive flashy cars. Indeed, the three most popular vehicle brands among American millionaires are Toyota, Honda, and Ford. So what about billionaires? In his research for the book, Hallam discovered that 9 of the 17 richest people in the world drive cars that are worth less than $50,000. That's right, Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, and Jeff Bezos all drive relatively inexpensive cars when one considers their personal wealth. Okay, so now a final point from Andrew Hallam about spending money on a car. He quotes from the popular financial blog Financial Samurai. The Financial Samurai states that nobody should buy a car that costs more than 10% of their gross annual income. Therefore, if someone earns $40,000 a year, they shouldn't spend more than $4,000 on a car. If someone earns £200,000 a year, they shouldn't spend more than $20,000 on a car. So that's the Sloth Investor's Bite-Sized Summary of Balance by Andrew Hallam. To listen directly from the author of the book, you can watch my interview with Andrew Hallam by viewing episode 28 of the Sloth Investor podcast. You can find a link to that interview in the description to this video. Also, you can find a link to my summary video of Millionaire Teacher, another fantastic book by Andrew Hallam, in the description to this video. To keep up to date with the latest content from the Sloth Investor, whether this be my podcast or other video content, please remember to subscribe to this channel.